Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we are going to discuss all the changes that will occur soon enough into the game. We are going to talk about new premium tanks, already existing premiums that are going to be changed, a lot of stuff. So let's not lose too much time. Let's go. But before we start this video, this is kind of sponsored by Blitz Hub simply because that's those guys that gave me the information I'm about to present to you. They have a YouTube channel. You will find the link in the description, so please give them a like, give them a sub because they deserve it. Let's dive straight in talking about a new Russian heavy tank. Yeah, and another one. At tier 7, the IS-2 Shielded, which is basically another variant of a regular IS-2 with the exact same statistics, but that comes with some heat protection pretty much everywhere, hull included. The cool thing about this one is that it gets the design of the IS-2 rather than the IS, which means that it's going to be even more armored than the regular IS, as you can see, and you can find out about this pretty quickly. You see that here at the front, it doesn't have that little curve the IS has. No, this one is straight ball-in, straight going for kind of a triangle shape, and this is what gives it all its artificial armor. Now for the rest of the statistics, nothing to be truly amazed about. Usually with the IS you have a 400 alpha damage gun, which is the case here with a poor gun dispersion, which is the case here also with 0.40. The gun depression is 6 degrees, which is common among the other Russian tanks. And that's it. The top speed, maneuverability in general is not that good, but not that bad either, because you have 32 kilometers per hour maximum, which is enough for you to do the job, be where you need to be in the time you need to get there. So in definitive, probably a tank you are going to miss out simply over the fact that if it's not coming into an event for free, or at least an event where you don't have to spend, let's say, more than 5k gold, I do not think that it's worth it, specifically if you already have this tank in your garage. The IS-2 Pravda SP, a tank that is literally the best IS. I already did a video where I was comparing all of the IS variants from the IS from the Russian tech tree to the IS-2 Pravda, the latest one implemented, and out of all of them, the one that was the best was the Pravda. So if you already have this tank, then the IS-2 Shielded is totally useless for you. And what makes this tank stands out is that basically it has the exact same statistics as all the others, but just increase not too much, just a little bit. But yeah, why would you rather play an IS-2 Shielded beside the look if the only advantage you have is the look? Because obviously the IS-2 Pravda is doing everything the IS-2 Shielded does, but in a better way. So yeah, just get this one. On top of that, I don't know why, but I love the camo, like the all white thing with the small ensign right there is just perfect. One last point about the IS-2 Shielded concerning the reload time. It's 12.94 seconds, which is roughly what you have on every single IS tank in the game. Same with the average penetration. So yeah, definitely a copy paste, something that could have been on the original IS-2 with, I don't know, maybe just a legendary camouflage or an attachment, because beside the cool factor, the cool looking factor, you don't have anything with this tank. But don't worry, my friend, Daddy Pantoufleee has something that is definitely more interesting for you. The first ever premium that looks like the YOH line, the M-IV-YOH. And what is crazy about this one is that it's a tech tree tank in World of Tanks PC. They just switched the premium in PC with the tech tree in Blitz, and bang, you got this tank as a premium. So basically, when we talk about the armor profile, what amazed me at first is the frontal armor, the millimeters 277 all around here, which means that you are going to be impenetrable. And this is why Wargaming gives it, just for the sake of it, a huge cupola on top, which is definitely going to be a weak spot, I can assure you that. For the rest of the tank, it's pretty rounded at the base, which means that this part will probably be penetrable with gold shell, or if you're playing with a tank destroyer that has a high penetration. And usually what we have is the lower part of the hull, which is the weak spot. But the cool thing about this one is that it's so rounded, looking like a bathtub, that it means that probably that the lower part of the hull is going to be quite hard to penetrate. Same as the regular YOH at tier 10. You will probably have to shoot this area, because if you snap a shot here or here, maybe that it will bounce. But we'll have to wait for the tank to be implemented in order for us to know. For the rest of the statistics, and what amazed me at first is the firepower of the tank, or at least the mechanism, because you have 14.3 seconds of reload for a shell reload time of 7.5 seconds, which means that you have 4 shells in the magazine, and to unleash your whole clip with the pre-reload, the magazine reload time included, it's going to take you roughly 40 seconds. 40. It's quite huge. And what does it tell us about the tank? That this right there, boys, is a support tank. It's not going to be something you can play aggressively with. It's something that will definitely need to be H24 with either a platoon mate or your other allies, because obviously when you have 40 seconds of reload for 4 shells, you can't play aggressively too much. At least the cool factor is that your penetration is quite nice, because obviously if you had 4 shells in the magazine and not a possibility to penetrate your opponents, you would be a little bit pissed. But here it's fine. I mean, 280 millimeters with your regular, 265 with your gold. Yeah, it's fine. On top of that, as we were talking about an American tank, it allows a lot of flexibility, because as you can see, the gun depression is 8 degrees. It's not as good as other tanks that we're used to, because usually it's 10 degrees for Americans, but hey, 8 degrees, we're not gonna spit on that, it's pretty cool. But of course comes the downside, beside the reloading factor. The average damage per shot, 310. So we are gonna have an AMX 5100 with more armor and 1 more shell in the magazine just for the sake of it. And to be honest with you guys, I don't know how I should feel about that, because it means that with this tank you have around 1.3k DPM when you're shooting all your shells. But 7.5 seconds of reload between shells, it's just too much. It's not gonna feel like an auto loader, but rather like a fast firing heavy tank for 3 shots. After leave that to God, 40 seconds of reload, just good luck. On top of that, the gun dispersion is horrific, 0.38, which means that with this tank, you really need to be totally focused on your opponent before shooting, because obviously, if you don't do this, you are going to struggle. I mean, just imagine you're facing an E75. You're shooting with gold shell. So you already have your DPM down, decreased by around 300 damage, which means that your clip in total can only do 1000 damage. If on top of that, you miss 1 or 2 shells just because your gun dispersion said fuck off, you are going to be a little bit pissed about your tank, and you would be right. For the rest, at least, and the cool thing is the maneuverability, because the top speed is 40 kilometers per hour. What can you do with 40 kilometers per hour? Quite a lot of things. And this is pretty much what the playstyle is going to be about: hit and run, or support and run. But in definitive, in both cases of playstyle, you need to run when you are reloading. This is going to be interesting, at least. Unlike the IS-2 Shielded, this one actually has something for itself. It's not a copy-paste of anything we already have. Yes, it gets those statistics from the YOH line. I have so many tanks here that I can't even find it. The YOH is right there, because both are quite similar, but at the same time, it's a good variant. It's not only something that could have been an attachment for the tank. We have a new turret, we have a new tank overall, but we also, and most importantly, have 1 more shell in the magazine. Now, the question is it really going to be useful knowing that we have a tech tree that has only 3 shells? Yes, but reloads in 2.7 seconds between shells and not 7.5 seconds. I don't know, it's still in preparation, so I'm expecting Wargaming to lower down just a little bit by maybe 1 second the reload between shells, because already having 6.5 seconds instead of the 7.5 could actually make the tank work, because otherwise, I don't know, it's going to be too specific to be able to get played correctly or even be enjoyable, because let's face it, Blitz is a fast game, and when you are playing with something that needs to reload for 40 seconds... Now, boys, before leaving you, I need to show you some stuff, some other stuff. First of all, the IS-2E icon, which is basically the eyes to shield it, with what seems to be its legendary camouflage, which seems to be something historical, because as you can see, there is some rust on the shield panel, and the tank is colored originally with the colors that they put on the tank when they used it, I guess. On top of that, we have the Skoda T27 that is getting a legendary camouflage, or maybe a variant of the legendary camouflage, using the Czech flag, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And finally, the WZ113 GFT, which seems to get another legendary camo, something that is a little bit weird, maybe a collaboration with a designer or something, because that's the first time I see actual faces on the tank like that. Pretty interesting, even if I'm probably gonna stick with the original legendary camouflage with the carp on it. Just loves it. To finish off with the Rover, that I'm not gonna show too much because we're gonna talk about that tank in a dedicated video tomorrow. To finish off with the biggest news, it seems like the M-IV-YOH is not coming with a legendary camouflage, at least for the moment, but we have more infos on the G-SOAR 1008, a tank that Wargaming already tested. If they are already announcing a legendary camo, it means that the tank is ready to go into battle. So you can expect it either for the 9.1 or the 9.2 update. And I'm kind of excited for this one because we don't see that much premiums from the British tech tree. And on top of that, guys, I mean, just take a look at this statistics. I already did a video on it. You will find plenty of videos on the tank, but it's definitely something you want to add to your collection. And on top of that, maybe one thing to notice that I didn't see before, it's a literal sword. This legendary camo is turning the gun of the tank in a sword, and it just looks dope as hell. It looks like a collaboration with Elden Ring. Elden Ring, that is a game that I like a lot. And that's it for today's fella. I just wanted to be able to share with you what is coming into the game, and I did. Tell me in the comments what you think. Are you excited? Are you a little bit disappointed? And well, waiting for those tanks to be implemented and for us to be able to play together. I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.